My cultural identity. My culture has influenced fundamental values that have been integrated into my own self-perception. My experiences and environments I've grown up in have made an impact on my moral character. Being a Mexican-American Christian has shaped me into the person I am today. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, but my culture is predominantly of Mexican descent. My parents are from Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico, and the language they speak is Spanish. As a Mexican American, my family usually cooks traditional Mexican meals, including mole, enchiladas, fajitas, with refried beans and rice, different kinds of soups, picadillo, and the list goes on. Now, as a Hispanic living in the southern United States, I have come to know the American melting pot culture. There aren't really traditional American eateries. Instead, many different heritages and cultures are represented in the array of restaurants at our disposal. Cuisine is largely influenced by the people living in the area. The Mexican culture holds a lot of customs, one of which includes the Advent tradition, which is when Christians use the weeks prior to Christmas to prepare and remember the real meaning of Christmas. This tradition is the only one we celebrate as a family. My mother is Catholic and my father is a Jehovah's Witness. Both are branches of Christianity that believe there is one omnipotent God, and that there is a prophet, Jesus, who died for our sins. I too believe this and consider myself a Christian. Due to the beliefs and practices related to Jehovah's Witnesses, we do not celebrate events as a family. The Advent is actually the only thing that's celebrated in my home. It's a time where we avoid eating meat and dairy and set out the nativity scene. This means that while other families use special occasions to reunite with their family, we are a family that is in unison all year round. Since I'm a self-proclaimed Christian, I celebrate typical Christian holidays like Christmas and Easter, and also common American holidays like Halloween, Thanksgiving, New Year's, and Independence Day. I have not forgotten my roots, but I have acculturated and modified my lifestyle according to American customs. My parents are accepting of other cultures and are open to having their children venture out and finding their own beliefs. My parents had different socioeconomic statuses growing up. My mother was raised in a lower middle class area while my father lived in a lower class area. They have each had different experiences in their home life, school, and work, much of which they have shared with my brother and I. I grew up in a lower middle class household. I have lived in apartments my entire life and have had to share my room since I can remember. The apartments I've lived in have high populations of Hispanic families. I've had the opportunity of making connections because of our common backgrounds. Growing up, I couldn't have most of the things I wanted. This caused me to be a very generous person. Although I don't get paid much where I currently work, what money I do receive, I spend on those I care about. I grew up to believe that each generation can be better than the last. I personally would want to be in a higher class than my parents or grandparents. The American culture has also influenced my education experience, where people strive to attain self-reliance and autonomy. Both cultural themes have been embedded in my character. I've learned to value the power of education and climbing the socioeconomic ladder as high as possible so the next generation is better off. Above all, my cultural identity has affected my lifestyle and my perspective on many things. The Mexican culture and norms have defined my core values, where family comes first, but I have also adapted my beliefs to the American culture, where a lot of self-worth is placed on professions. As a result, I highly value my career, but when it comes down to it, family will always be placed on a higher pedestal. Due to my culture, religion, and values, I am a well-rounded, dedicated person in all aspects of my life. I strive to be successful both in school and at work. My cultural identity is the basis of my morals and my support system that takes me through life.